Everybody stick around. Hump Day Exchange is starting in 1 minute, and we will have none other than Jacob Rosecrants from House District 46 on. How are you today?
Oh, just been doing things.
Yes.
Basically the job. I mean, it really never ends. So, constant.
Yeah. So I'm going to introduce Michael and Elizabeth. They're our hosts for Hump Day Exchange, and they're going to be the ones interviewing you, asking you questions. I'm going to help moderate, help try to field comments and that kind of thing for them. Michael, Elizabeth, you ready to take it away?
Hello, yes, of course. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're great.
Perfect.
Oh, can you hear me? Is this good?
Yes. I got a better microphone this time.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you talking to me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're the man of the hour. You the man.
Well, thank you for asking. I'm so not used to TikTok at all. I got on TikTok, actually one of my former teacher friends made me one, and then I kind of messed around with it a little bit, and then I don't have the wherewithal with all the other social media I'm doing, so I'm a rookie kind of on this situation. So.
Oh, that was funny. Well, I guess they did just extend the TikTok ban again, so there's that. I know, so we've already kind of like started migrating out of, hey, we're going to do other networks, so not
TikTok. No, Donald Trump loves it too much.
Right.
It won't happen. He thinks it helped him win the election, which it probably did.
I'm like, you should trust you at this point. I'm sorry, were you saying something, Elisa?
No, I didn't. I think it was Michael.
Okay. Michael, did you have something?
Oh, no, I was just saying it was easier for Trump to push his propaganda on TikTok, so he's not gonna get rid of it. If he can make $1, he's gonna do it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say. Perfect.
Yeah. Listen, all my days, like, oh my God.
So I want to ask. I keep hearing everybody up at the Capitol doing interim studies at this moment in time, and I was just curious, do you have any interim studies that you're starting?
Oh yeah, I got a big one. I make no bones about the fact that I don't like managed care. I fought like tooth and nail whenever it was coming through.
I can barely hear you.
There's not much I can do to change that because
okay.
Set up or anything. I'll just talk louder.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Well, when it comes to interim studies, so I have one that's looking at managed care and how it's affected mental health providers and health providers, because it's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's the number one issue that we get in our inboxes is, people from providers being not paid, especially for the Medicaid population. So it is a huge study, and the good news about it, since I had this study my idea myself, sometimes they'll combine studies, and I love when things are bipartisan because, it's the place we work at. If it's bipartisan, it gets a little more weight. And so there was just randomly, I didn't work with him at first, but randomly, Representative Tim Turner also had a very similar study, and so we combined them. So now it is a bipartisan, Republican-Democrat, look into managed care and what they can do better. We're not going to run like legislation, I don't think, right off the top, but there's a lot of people that want to see managed care organizations get out of space.
Well, as somebody that works in community mental health, I love that you're doing that because it's needed. Because not only is Medicaid slow paying, but the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services isn't paying at all and hasn't for over a year. It floored me to find out how much my agency was in debt because we have been the only financially stable, not debt, we own our own buildings agency, and now you're like, oh, you mean we don't get tissue anymore? That's it. You know what I mean? So it's not
That led
those head.
and those problems led to actual movement on something, which is kind of rare at the Capitol, as we all know. We opened up an investigatory committee in the House to look into what's going on because, oh man, where there's smoke, there was fire, big time. And it hasn't really fixed the issue because they have to kind of rebuild and figure it out and do all that. But I think they're on the right track. But they're a mess, absolute mess. And it's what happens whenever you put somebody who has no experience in charge of agencies that have to do with billions of dollars from federal, from state. If you don't have people that know what they're doing, then this is the kind of thing that's going to happen. And it's what we're seeing in part of education as well.
Yeah, it's, I know that, I work in a specialty program and, they are coming specifically to talk to my program. And so I work in harm reduction and we all got like a big talking to so we can no longer use housing first or that term and no longer use the term harm reduction, which we were really being pushed to go to. So now we talk about like the no harm reduction, and then I see this mass shooting in Minnesota, and you're like, all of this trauma, and then to think that they're not going to be able to get the help that they truly need because one department can't pay and one department won't pay. It's hard. It's a hard thing. And then to think that
What we're
our
doing
program, do what?
what we're doing for this, because honestly, the managed care, we invited, so the way it's going to work, the study, we only have 3 hours to do this, less than that. So we're going to have some providers to come in and explain, other providers are hearing too. We're going to have an app where you can, basically, if you're a provider and you have some issues, well, then you will just reach out to my legislative system. We have a whole system there. We're trying to work behind closed doors. I haven't been able to post about it or anything like that. We're trying to get providers to give us the information. We'll read a few of those, kind of make the point that, hey, listen, your personal testing, things like that. And then we're going to have a patient perspective as well. We're still kind of working out who that's going to be. And then we invited all the managed care organizations to come in. And at first they were all like, hey, yeah, no problem. And a few days ago, they were like, hey, we're just going to send our lobbyists to one that covers everybody. I was like, oh, of course. Okay.
I see you pushed a nerve.
I'm sure they're like, oh, well, I mean, I was hoping everybody just come to the table and would just be like, okay, we're all going to hear each other out. Managed care is in Oklahoma, so let's figure out how to make it better. That's kind of where we're going with this. But now there's still, I hear rumors of some legislators that are run a bill to repeal to get rid of managed care organizations. I'm not one of those people who's authoring that bill because it won't. But that's some of what I'm hearing on that front as well.
Okay. I'm gonna dominate one more question. So, kind of speaking of all that, I'm gonna go into like the homelessness situation. I will say, so you are a representative in Norman. I know that Michael lives out in Norman. I used to work out in Norman. I've only been back to the city for 6 months. I was there when ICE came to Griffin, and I was the one to break the news to the Red Rep. Well, how do you know? Because I know. And Governor Kent. So, caveat to that, when he very first got elected, his wife went to all of the community mental health centers because that was her passion. And now I want to know, where is that passion right now? Okay, back to homelessness. I'm just like, wow. I wish my passion didn't look like aggression.
I feel that.
I was there, like, our director came and spoke to us about, hey, like, our CEO and all these CEOs are going to meet about the homeless situation in Norman. And then son of a gun, if Sandridge didn't put through the bill, right, to criminalize homelessness, the minute they saw that they could get a ticket or charge for having a shopping cart, I kid you not, the entire lot was like shop carts, like all behind Griffin. I was not cracking up, but I was like, oh my goodness, so many things. But, like, I don't even know what my question is. Like, what did we do? What can we do? I know Civic Care came in and took over food and shelter. Ironically enough, that is also the same place that clients would go to sign up for the California rehab thing that was just in the news for fraud.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, unhoused population is everywhere. You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. I think it has to do with, obviously, a lot of mental health, undiagnosed mental health, whatever you want to call it. But also, it's so expensive just to live, you know? Also, I think there's a mix there. And the more we have these conversations, we try to make people understand that these are just people who help, whatever that help may be. I think that's the way to go. I'm speaking to business folks, you know, about this all the time because they like to vilify it. Everybody likes to take the easiest route. Oh, look, they're criminals. That's all you ever hear, criminals. No, there are people that are either mentally ill and need help that way, or they're addicted and they need help that way, or they're poor. And in America, there shouldn't be these problems. In America, we should be able to fix them. And that's what government's supposed to be for. That's the whole point of government in my book. I mean, you're providing services for the people. If you're in business, it's not a business. If you look at it as a business, and that's a big problem with me. That's so much what we have out here. Even good-hearted people across the aisle, the pro-business, hear it all the time. That's a profit margin. There's no profit margin in a company. You know? And I guess because people are making money off it, they're looking at, okay, maybe there is a way. It's a real system. But the best way we can do it is have these conversations and make sure and humanize it. And I try all the time as a Catholic person, you know, born and raised, dad was a Catholic priest. So, I mean, I'm pretty hardcore. I'm like, well, read the Bible, fool!
Same.
Come on. Like, we're supposed to help. We're not supposed to hurt. And so it just angers the hell out of me that we self-professed Christians will not be Christian at all.
Right. And because I say that too because I say I'm a recovering Catholic, but you know, Catholic schools, you know, at the holidays we had the Eucharist and we had wine back in the day. In the 70s and 80s, you got wine. But yeah, that what is being preached now is like that's not how I was brought up. Like, and I'm old school Roman Catholic. Like, what is happening? Yeah, it's a lot.
But that's back when they also believed in separation of church and state.
Well,
kind of, sort of, you know, because that's like...
Nationalism is the problem, you guys know.
Right. Oh, yeah, 100%.
I've with my post to educate folks on the difference between the two. As a matter of fact, I've tried to get people to understand that Christian nationalists are not even patriots. They're the opposite. They want us to
100%.
They don't want this country the way that it is right now. And I think that's where the big battle is right now in the Republican Party. You see that level, but then you see power-hungry Trump who wants everything. And honestly, he'll use the system to get to that power. He has definitely done it. I don't know if it's him that's smart enough to do that, or it's them, whatever else. It's a sick thing there. But I think there's some areas there where you can crack that. Because if you're a true Christian, if you are a believer in the word of Jesus Christ, you don't vilify anybody, be it our friends across, our unhoused friends, or our friends who are here from other countries, or whatever. And so that's the thing I keep trying to hammer down on, hammer. I'm not alone, a lot of folks out there, but I think that's the best way to do it. Because we are Christians. There's a ton of Christians here. So there's no reason to not lean into that. That doesn't mean I want to see the Bible in freaking classrooms. That's stupid. But it's my point is you should want to be like Jesus, then act like Jesus. Don't do these hateful things. And again, I would just keep beating on that like a drum, no matter who I talk to.
Right. Well, and back to that stewarding, right? Because our elected officials were entrusted with the public all, right? And there was this idea back in the day that they were stewards of all of the public funds, the trust, the infrastructure, all of it, right? And so it wasn't designed to enrich themselves and their friends ever. It was designed for the common welfare of the people. Because if you take away all of the people that make up a town, you no longer have a town. And same with the state level and same with the country level. Once there's no people there, there is no state, there is no town, there is nothing. So why is it that these corporations, we now have this utter corporatocracy that has just overlaid, it seems like, the top of all of our government institutions that we're stewarding and turned them into these mining of all of our treasures, at every level. It's just insane to me. That's shit crazy.
Well, money's the root of all evil. You hear it all the time,
Right.
but it truly is. I'm not saying you shouldn't have money in your life. I'm not saying you shouldn't work hard. Just the taste for it is going to get you nowhere real fast. And that's unfortunately a lot of folks believe that's what they need to do. They need to keep up with the Joneses. They need more success. Rather than living life to just live life, to help others, to use these corporations for good. They exist, so use them for good. And instead, you got a sick system, and a lot of it has to do with that profitization idea. The same reason why Republicans really want, or Republicans in general, want to privatize everything. So they can make money off it, which is the exact opposite of what we're talking about, what government's supposed to be for. That's where the big battle is. That's where education, everything else, it comes down to that. I don't know how you fix that. It's a sick system. It is. And it's a system, unfortunately, that favors the majority. So that means that Democrats are the majority in D.C. Guess what? They're going to be pro-corporation, too. I've seen time and time again. Republicans are, then they get the law, all that kind of stuff. So, after Citizens United decision, all of that made corporations people, and that's where I think some of the biggest problems are that we have right now. So until we repeal that, until we start looking at government as a service, the public service rather than a way to make money, I don't know how we fix the problem in America. I really don't. Or Oklahoma.
It's separation.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. So when people like Bernie Sanders are saying the things they say, you're absolutely right. And they say them over and over again, so you'll get it in your head. It's like the millionaires and billionaires. That's what it is. And the millionaires and billionaires won the last election. And so I think it's only going to get darker. Now, I wonder if Trump outlasts his usefulness, billionaires and millionaires, if they'll continue to kowtow to him. Because right now, I've never seen anything quite like it. It's just bow down to this guy. Literally some scary stuff. I mean, we're talking, I'm a history major. Not even Hitler had everything lined up as well as Trump does when it comes to taking over a country. The only difference is the fact that we're really big. There are a lot of people, and I think that could make a difference. I mean, I don't mean to scare people by any meaning of the word. I just think that if you look at this and try to compare contrast, there's some scary stuff going on. And the worst part, and I guess the smartest part on their side, is just flooding the zone. It can't concentrate. Like this horrible school shooting in Minnesota today. Horrible. And you go online and you just say, okay, it's a transgender person, blah, 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 all that. Okay, it's a person who had hate all over their heart. Yeah, no kidding, you could say that. But then all these other narratives came up, and it was constant. I had to get off. I was just like, whoa. I just want to know the facts. And I'm sure other people are out there like, what's the facts? I don't care if this person is transgender or if they're straight or whatever their gender. They're a horrible person for killing human beings.
Correct.
It's just so sickening to me when politics gets involved. Also, the pro-gun folks, come on, y'all. We're one of the only countries that really doesn't have common sense.
Elisa and I were talking about that because, like, even overseas, their officers are brightly colored because they're there to protect and serve, not to hunt you down like a cheetah.
Oh, it's even scarier now with the military going into the cities. Listen, I know I'm like not Mr. Ray of Sunshine right now, but these are the things that I see. I try to use humor to get my message across because it's just so freaking crazy right now. Also, I took a little my social media. What I did, I looked at Trump and I go, "What is this mofo doing?" I'm going to do some of that, but on the good side.
That's right. My
But
favorite.
I don't know. It's a broken system. We ask these questions. How can we make things better? How can we make schools better? Well, guess what? It's an easy answer. It's investing in it with the monies that are given to the state to be trusted, like you said, to provide services for the public. Until you don't, if you don't grasp that, it's always going to be up or down. It's always going to be have versus have not. And that's what we have right now. And I don't know how you think
I don't feel like it's fear mongering because this is facts. This is what is happening right this minute. I know I was talking to Elisa and I said, I swear I'm just walking around like a deer in headlights because it won't stop.
won't stop.
And so,
a guy like Walter's up there who is so adept at just nailing those points to get that base just riled up no matter what. And he's dangerous because of that. But I think there's other dangerous people out there as well. There's Dane Jett, who you meet him, you like the guy. But he's like one of the furthest right guys out there. It's one of those things that he's very he's more gifted than Walter. I've heard his name maybe he'll run for people. Look at all the issues. Now it can be stopped because especially the over politicization, because Republicans can just open up their primaries like Democrats do, but let independents do. Because there's a top set of independent voters out there. It's why I keep getting elected, I think. And they're ready. They don't like extremes, and they don't look at Democrats as extreme right now. They look at Republicans as really in power and extreme. Probably why the Republicans don't want them there. But right there, you'll get a normal human being, or at least a good chance at it, rather than some far right critter that doesn't understand what government really is.
right?
I don't know.
Do you have any inside information you can share with us about, I mean, we just heard that 19 states, red states, right, that are getting National Guard, that they welcome them, and also that they're being cross-deputized as U.S. Marshals, right, which is extremely scary because that gives them a lot of immunity to do a lot of different things that National Guard wouldn't necessarily have. But what's the talk at the state capitol about Oklahoma seeing that invasion and occupation here?
It's going to happen. You're talking about
anytime. I mean, we know that, but I mean, weeks, months.
These people are wanting this. They're going to welcome it. The only thing I think that's in our favor is that I've heard from pretty high sources that Trump hates it. So, I mean, or maybe you're going to get a lot less focus on it or something like that. I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I think that he didn't ask Oklahoma and National Guard to do D.C. So, there's a little inside baseball for you. But, I don't mean to fearmonger, but come on, we've already lived under this under his eye for a long ass time now. So of course they're going to use this time to deputize and overpower the people, basically, in the name of law and order. And, you know, that's the big thing. That's what it's going to be. Oh no, we're just trying to keep people safe. We're just trying to keep everybody secure. And what they're going to do that is just vilify it. That's easy to do because there's already a big chunk of the populace that believes that all the issues are immigrant or unhoused population or whatever else. So when it comes down to fighting that, I would like to say you use facts. Even these days, I have been very frustrated when somebody drops some absolute crap on me, and I just really quickly rebut it with facts. And you're like, it's fake news. And like, well, if you're not going to believe facts, where are you going?
Where are we going with this?
Get in the mud. I don't know what else to do. You have to kind of just muddle through at this particular point and hope to God that we have the, and I don't know if we do, the right protections for the people in the form of Supreme Court, or at least the justice system, which I don't believe is. So, I mean, we've got some big issues over here. But right now, I think the biggest one is that we're fighting for a republic. We're fighting for the democracy in the republic. That's what's happening. That's what's happening.
So Oklahoma says logically, what can we do to avoid the National Guard coming here?
Or getting
We're mounting opposition for core civic and some of the other things. Like, is there a chance that the people could unite and maybe change the minds where that's concerned?
Well, and does it also, didn't he want a militia? Didn't stand, so the caveat, in addition to that question, I would have to ask is when he wanted to start the militia.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Listen, that's trouble. That's the first thing I thought of, because I was going to ask, that was one of my questions was, listen, he already wanted to start the militia. This is, Trump's already given the green light. Stent's just itching. Like, I feel like it's a matter of time, and like, do you have insight on that?
No, I have no insight on that, except for the fact that I know that this is going to happen. Again, how do you push back against it? It would have to be huge. That's the thing about protests and popular uprisings. It has to be numbers. And we saw even with the walkout in 2018, that was like 80,000, and it wasn't enough. So you've got to have people that are so fed up that they'll go out and risk their jobs or whatever else, even their lives, to say, hey, enough's enough. And that's just simply not going to happen at this particular point. It's because of what I said before. A lot of people are just wanting to get along, or whatever that is. And just kind of keep up with the Joneses and put their heads down and work. They realize that they voted for Trump, and they're like, well, crap. But they're like, oh, let's put my head down. You know, I'm going to do that until 2028. Fingers crossed. Yeah, anything that you think can happen that's probably bad for people could. I mean, honestly, you do have a battle between, I guess you'd call them more common sense Republicans. I call them pro-business Republicans. And the far right. Because pro-business Republicans want business to be good, right? They want things to be smooth. So they don't like the social issues, wars, and stuff like that at all. But they also don't have the background. They just simply don't. Once again, that's a product of the closed primary. You know, they realize that they're going to that a further right unknown person can come in and shoot them down. So I'm not trying to be apologetic for their votes or anything, but with everything the way it's gerrymandered here in Oklahoma, legislatively, I guess the one piece of good news is that we've already done so much bad. I don't know what else you can do. Like, we were thinking about that the other day as we talked. It's like, okay, did that. Vouchers, damn, did that. And so they're going to get creative. It's going to be whatever the fear du jour is, truly. And my big fear, as what you said before with the National Guard coming in, all it's going to take, you know what they're waiting for. They're adept at this. They are adept at poking to where somebody finally breaks, almost like a person who's bullied, and they finally break, and they're like, oh, and they lash out, and they're like, there it is. Okay, boom. Take them out.
We know that playbook, and they've been trying to use it to start a civil war and a world war for a little bit. And it has amazed me that it hasn't popped off yet. And that says a lot for the people, of those areas, because it really has been the people themselves that have been the calm, as opposed to the politicians. especially at some of these town hall or city council meetings, the commissioner meetings, just even here in Oklahoma, but elsewhere too. I think a lot of people are mad enough that they're ready to take action, and they just need a direction that they feel comfortable enough, right, that they could accomplish themselves. And I think a lot of what we've heard is run for office, run for office, run for office. And that's a big leap for a lot of people because the first thing they say to themselves is, who am I? Because we always talk about that person wasn't qualified or blah, blah, blah. But honestly, there's really no qualifications here, sadly enough. So,
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that. The system, once again, has made it so difficult to run. Heck, we ran 5-foot seats on one of them, and honestly, nobody gave me a chance. Nobody. In 2015, when I first ran, they were like, oh yeah, right. Democrat in this district, I was like, I don't care. I'm a pissed off teacher. Even back then, I'm ready to go out and see if I can get my teacher votes to the Capitol. That did help. The stars aligned right before the teacher walkout. And it wasn't like politically speaking. I was literally teaching and knocking doors right after the classroom. So sometimes stars have to align to be able to put these things. But also it comes down to targeting as well. And I know that, as Democrats in general, we have targeted cities, especially around Tulsa, Oklahoma City. There's some cases that absolutely shouldn't have Republican representation. But the Republican that's in that city understands that. And they are very moderate or they're very accessible, whatever else. But here's the funny thing. There's only one real, true moderate Republican. Seriously. Now, you'll have others who are moderate. I'm saying by their seat. And that's Daniel Penn. He flipped a blue seat. That's it.
Something just happened.
Yeah, what was
that? Really loud.
Okay. I think it was I don't know, some celebration hitting our goal of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, TikTok does weird stuff. Hey, Michael, sorry, we've kind of monopolized the conversation. You got a question?
Go ahead and jump in, man.
Michael, he's being very patient.
I'm just listening. I'm enjoying the conversation, but I can talk about fascism and how much I hate Trump as much as the next person, but I kind of wanted to shift a little bit more selfish to myself. I have a question about water, I guess, clean water. Is there anything in the works about getting clean water for Norman? Because, as you know, I picked one of the highest levels for water here in Norman. I don't know. I haven't been to Norman. I'm kind of new to Norman, so just realized I have to have water bottles here. I don't know if you know if there's anything in the works.
Yeah, actually I do. We spoke about interim studies a little bit ago. I did an interim study on the high numbers of chromium in Norman's water. Well, it was very eye-opening. First of all, Norman City came in. They were very open. They were very much wanting to show us what they're aware of. They were very open with the fact that it's not something that's looked at as negative from the EPA yet, but a report is supposed to come out either this year or next year to decide, is it something that we have to actually take mitigation for. Problem is, now Trump's holding that up too, and the Trump administration is yeah, so they're aware. They're aware. Right now, what we figured out, it's not from pollution. It was mostly naturally well water, naturally occurring. Not every well has it. You have to actually drill into certain areas, and mostly out there by Thunderbird. But they take a lot of measures to make sure that the water's safe. They showed me. They invited me in. They showed all the different things. And then I asked a lot of questions, especially the major one. Why does our water taste like ass?
Right? I mean, like, for real.
I was shocked how the water tasted because I moved from Yukon and it wasn't as bad, but it was moved from Norman where I have to have a water bill service come. I'm glad to hear that it's something that works.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. Obviously, when you have Thunderbird as your source, it's going to turn over and stuff like that. These are all explanations for me. But the main thing is, especially when it comes to Chromium 6, there was a lot of eyeballs on it. Now, when it comes to the Capitol, I'm not having those good conversations because they don't believe it's something that needs to be done yet. Because that's what something the city told us as well. We're going to have to invest in better water systems. We're going to have to, especially if the federal government through it needs to happen. So again, with the federal government being the circus that it is, I don't even know what's going to go down with that. But in answer to your question in a roundabout way, yes, I'm focused, but also others are focused on that as well. And hopefully, we will keep that conversation going, which is really part of the battle. And what I do as part of the minority is not always passing bills. It's just keeping things alive. Stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's like by town, by city, by county, like the whole state. Because I'm over here by the Capitol, and I was like, you would think that our water would taste like decent. I'm like, clearly the governor doesn't drink tap water. So.
And it's so hit or miss. That's going to be the next big battle, though, is water. It's going to be, because it's a first source. And
with the data centers.
I know, we're not, that's horrible. Hey, I'm glad we're bringing money in for the state, I am, but those data centers are creepy, and I'm sorry, they're going to just grow and grow and grow. Even I use AI, not for everything. I'm a Generation X, so I just use it for helpful things, because I still like talking to people and stuff like that. Really like critical thinking. Not saying that younger generations don't feel that way. I'm just saying I grew up with the technology and it's continuing. But it's not going to stop. It is a new frontier. It's going to change everything. It's going to change schools. It's going to change the way we police. It's going to change the way we do laws. Everything. And so it's something we have to get prepared for too. AI.
Yeah. So we also have this refining problem, and now I guess some rare minerals are now here. So I mean, it feels like a lot like what they did in the early 1900s to 1920s. They had the Roaring Twenties because they just kind of raped and pillaged everything, right? And it just feels like here we are, exactly 100 years later, doing exactly the same thing. And what we learned in the 30s, dust bowl couldn't feed people. Migration was having to happen all over the place. The term Okies came about because of those things. And here we are again, and it's been kind of interesting to watch how everyday Oklahomans are responding. Because there's the ones that want to hold on to the fantasy, I'm going down with this ship, everything's fine and rosy and sunshine. And they're just going to go down with that ship, right? And then you have the others going, hey, the ship's going down, will you help me bail out the water? And I'm like, what water?
Nothing. It's great.
Right. And so it's been.
They're poor, the person's color, and a minority.
Right. Yeah. I am a member of the Choctaw Nation, and so I do a lot of work or partnering with a lot of the indigenous-led groups, and West Wind Resistance, for instance, has been fighting down in Lawton for. Gosh, it feels like forever. I know it's been over a year since the first time I went to an event with them and a Rotary Club member assaulted an indigenous lady. And that was here in Oklahoma City. And of course they're like, no, it's all right. He's aesthetic. Like, wow. And now they're expanding, right? So and they're building. Their little building did not even withstand straight line winds. And it has gapes in it from straight line winds, trees hitting it, what have you. So it's been interesting to see that. And then Muskogee, they're bringing in cobalt that is leaking into the river as they're bringing it in, and they're refining it in Muskogee. And so there's an indigenous-led group down there that's been trying to please stop polluting everything. how can we help them? Because I know, like, when we were talking about, like, Sayre and Watanga on the other things, what they want to open there, it's those, here's those big city folk want to come tell these small towns what to do. And all I can think of in these towns is, did we learn nothing from Pitcher?
Right. I mean, that's what you gotta have people understand. We don't get another environment. We don't get another world. I try to make sure people understand that, again, what's the main evil? Profit. Profit that these corporations and people are making off of our land. And thank goodness we have protesters that are fighting for that, but they're not. I don't know how to help more than try to pass common sense legislation, but we're the opposite of the Capitol. Now we're just loosening up everything, like doing preemptive laws to prevent municipalities from doing what they have to do to protect themselves from pollution or whatever else, or over use of plastics and whatever else. We literally passed a law to prevent municipalities from doing that. I was like, what happened to the local control people?
I know. I was thinking that with some of the other laws that were out there too. I was like, this completely strips away local control in every which way. And it just seems like they're fine.
We really have. Think about it. Federal government, we're fighting against the overreach there. State government, we're fighting against the state overreach over here. It's like everything flips. I first even got
FDR though, baby, right? FDR.
Yeah.
It's been weird before, so.
It has been weird before. I will say this. I do have some positive things to say. I know I've been so negative here. I don't mean to be that way. As a history major too, I can tell you that this is not a sustainable way to do things. None of this is. It's not sustainable. So after a while, I think common sense does win out. I truly do. I feel like we're on a journey, and this is the middle of it. You can use whatever analogy you want to. Use Lord of the Rings, use Star Wars, whatever you want to do. We're in the middle. We're in the Empire Strikes Back, But in the end, I think that common sense wins out. People win out. Real people win out. Especially once the person who really kind of created all this chaos is no longer president of the United States. Which, again, I kind of mentioned before, fingers crossed, because who knows if we even have the right protections against somebody who wants to run for president again. Nobody's even expecting it. And this guy decides that he can accept anything. I think that would be a bridge too far for most of my Republican friends, but who knows? But no, back to my point. That's the positivity. It's gonna burn out. It's gonna burn out. Now I hope it burns out. That movement burns out before the Earth burns out. Because look, we're not even talking about what's going on with the natural disasters. They're just going to keep rising as the temperatures keep rising. I'm not talking about temperature. I'm talking about climate as it changes overall. That's not going to stop. And so, if we're not prepared to really fight to make a funding it, or say, for instance, we're trying to put money back into the state. Well, part of me as a state representative loves the idea, but in a state like Oklahoma, we're just one party. So if one party's going to do whatever the heck it wants to do, you have to have more balance before something like that kind of works. But I don't know, guys. I think one thing also I do want to mention as well. I love that people are starting to fight back, at least online. You saw with Gavin Newsom. I've been doing it for 2 years. I looked at him. I thought about Harry Potter and one of the books where they just take their serious thing and make fun of it. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this guy. He scares the living crap out of most teachers because he sucks. And he's a clown. But, and I'm going to make him look like the clown that he is. I don't care if it helps his name recognition. I can care less. He's going to have that anyway. I want a negative connotation around that guy rather than whatever he wants to put it as. So I chose to do that. It was a tactic. I chose to purposely change my page from a state representative District 46 to that, plus we're going to cyberbully Ryan Wilson. But I like it. It gives me something. First of all, I didn't like it at first because I like to work across the aisle for common sense. I started liking it when I got tons of messages from my teacher friends who were like, please, thank God, oh my God, you give me hope. Someone kiss my post. Okay, then I will do what I can to keep that hope going. On top of trying to pass good laws and kill the bad stuff. Okay, so, but I like the fact that I wasn't doing that because you can't really reason. There's no like, oh, here, let's reach across the aisle. Yes, there are still Republicans who want to do that, but I told you they're either in lockstep with the Trump administration or they're scared shitless of it, and they're not going to show their any kind of spine. That's what I've noticed when it comes to some of the Republicans on the other side. But there's the positivity. This is just not. It's not going to last, guys. It can't. So while we're fighting so very hard and organizing, well, that's when we, I think, in the end, where all this kind of comes. Hopefully, we can get past some kind of conflict. That's my big hope. Because let's be honest, and I'm not trying to scare people here either. Again,
Being honest.
but as a history major, what we're missing is one big terrorist attack that killed a bunch of Americans for martial law to this day. That's what we're missing. And it could be even a domestic terrorist attack. Because that's what Hitler used with, the fire at the Reichstag. That's what we're missing. Trust me, these folks must study Hitler. Because they are colored by numbers about, the fear-mongering, this, that, and the other. So back to my positive point, I hope we don't go down that road.
As the daughter of, so my father, so I've done a lot of research on this, right? So this is part of my family history, that my father, at 6 months old, when the Russians invaded Poland, they pulled all the officers out and then shot them. So that's how my biological grandfather died.
Wow.
When they showed up, knocking on doors, and that's why you see people like, if you have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, like grab these. They had 15 minutes to grab their stuff, so she put my dad in a suitcase, and off they went.
Wow.
They went, everybody tried to kill him, like, all these things, right? So this is part of my family history, so yes, I looked at this and I'm like, how do you not see this? Even with my own parental unit, I'm like, this is happening. This is happening, period, end. And like you said, it's going to take a hangnail to have everything set off.
Yep.
I know with organizing Okies, like, that is why starting local has been so important to us. There's so many things going off nationally that we have to start locally.
Yep.
Because when everything does hit the fan, it's not if, it's when, and are we prepared. We know that we're going to have representatives like you that are actually going to listen to this constituents. I know I've heard you speak before, and we've had encounters. You have red dot voters that vote for you specifically for morals, character, and integrity, because you have told them, this is your interest, I have your best interest at heart, and they're like, you know what, you've proven it, so keep going. And if we're not local, it doesn't matter what's happening over here if our own state, which it is, a dumpster fire, along with the rest of the world. But, like, being local, like, what can we do? Where do we go? We talk about being involved. Like, go up to the Capitol, that's your house. Like, go and knock in on the doors. Right. So I think it's really important that we bring that up, like, as a state and doing things locally. It's like, we have 77 counties,
Well, and that's the way to do it. Yeah. Local always wins out. What we're living through right now is a party who understood that. Who started local, who went grassroots, and they took the long game. They set up this whole universe of fake news that was just ready to push out BS. It started with just Fox News, right? But now you have news now. You have these ones that don't even make sense. They're not even news organizations. It's not BS for people to hear. So think about the indoctrination on that. Oh, well, they've been doing it. They've been doing it for a long time. And the problem is with not just Democrats, but people who have critical thinking skills, we're going to want to explain things. We're not going to just be like, this is happening.
Right.
Well, we're going to take care of it. That makes so much more sense to people because that's the way people are, they think in general. I knock a lot of doors out here. That's the way a lot of my voters think. But when I have those conversations with them, I make them think. Because yes, I talk to most of the Republicans. I'm not losing Democrat votes out here. It's about 12% Republican. If everybody was to vote, it would be 12%. So it's a red seat.
Right.
So I have to talk to Republicans, and they're good. A lot of them do vote for me, absolutely. But it's not because I changed my ways. It's not because I did anything. I had conversations with them. I was like, hey, you know what? Here's the crazy thing. I feel you. I truly also do not love our education system. So I think we focus too much on the test scores, not enough on the whole child. I get a lot of people that agree with me on that from across the aisle. They're like, yeah, you're right. Should be more play, like Montessori. I'm like, yes.
We got about 10 more minutes if you guys want to type your questions into the comments. We'll try to answer as many as you can.
Yeah, I'm a little bit talkative. I apologize.
Please don't. Michael, back to you.
Back to you, Michael. Listen, we gotta pull it out.
I know. I think it's like I want to touch back on the, I guess, messaging, because I know I see the Democrats were going back, we're starting I'm going to call it FU politics, and Trump has pulled that off very well. Do you see that going well for the Democrats if we continue on that? Or do we need, like, I think our messaging hasn't played out for us well. What do you see?
Well, we need to come to the ugly truth. That's what we really need to do. It may be controversial, but we have to just see what are those issues that are going to cross the aisle and really focus on those. Listen, we're Democrats. We already accept and love all. I will always go to every pride. I will always understand, that trans folks exist. But my thing is, we can't really lean in like lead with that. And I hope people understand what I'm trying to say. It's hard. It's hard. I have lost votes from people, mostly independents, who are like, yeah, I just can't do this. And I'll educate them. I'll be like, no, there's no transgender ideology. That's all BS. But that has worked so well. I am so unimpressed that people cannot make their critical thinking skills understand that trans people have always existed and they're not the boogeyman around the corner. My God, but it has worked. That has really worked for the Republicans. More than anything I've seen. I'm not saying to change our messaging like that. No. I'm just saying we've got to start focusing on what we're being told we need to focus on, which is the high gas prices and groceries and stuff like that, the dinner table stuff, and the workers, while understanding that, yes, it's a big, broad, beautiful, world, diverse world, and we can do all these things at one time without really focusing hardcore. Now, the problem with that is that we're Democrats. We show love for all. We do show up for pride. And as soon as we do that, then boom, a rainbow flag pops up and they lose their minds and lose their votes, whatever else, because that's the gender ideology. I don't even know how you come back against that, except for, like, I have a transgender child, so I just try to educate folks. I'm like, I didn't transgender my child. We had a conversation. It was like, I thought that it was going to be a different conversation, and it turned out to be this conversation, and I wasn't even expecting it very much at first, because I saw what was coming down the pipe, and I was like, not in Oklahoma. We're not going to say these kids even do not choose this. It's who they are. When we have those conversations, it's a fundamental disconnect right away with more conservative people. They're like, I've had these conversations. They're like, well then, Jacob, why don't you be a better parent and tell that kid they can't be like that? I'm like, oh, we'll try it. Don't even try. I don't know how we can fix things until we can get past those cycles. And again, it's not even like things have changed. Transgender people have always existed. It's this big, huge target on their back. And I don't know how we stop that. One of the worst ads against Kamala was that one that was like, Trump for us, peace for they, them. That was horrible. So many of my more conservative friends were like, oh my God, do you see this? I was like, yeah, but I don't know how you fix that. It's just a mindset that's never going to be something that sees eye to eye with each other from this conservative mindset. And they've been taught, indoctrinated to really believe that Democrats are creating an army of transgender people to have more abortions. I shit you not!
They're eating the guns, they're eating the cows.
Yeah.
I heard somebody talk about a 6-9 argument, right? So it depends on what side you're standing on as to whether or not it's a 6 or a 9. And people have been fighting over whether it's a 6 or a 9. No, man, I can see it better than you can, right? And always wanting people to see from our perspective that how many people take the time to walk over to the 9 person and say, oh, wow, yeah, it does look like a 9 over here. That's really cool. Can I show you what I saw on my side? And then show them, you know, it's a 6 over here. And then from there, have a conversation about that perspective. And I cannot stop thinking about that and how to integrate that in conversations around this topic. Because, you know, I was raised Gen X as you don't discuss politics or religion. We did in our family, but not when any outsiders, you know, were in. But it was something growing up that, like, I had to watch the Reagan-Carter debate and have an opinion about it. I wasn't even 7 years old yet, you know? And so that taught me to be interested in the world around me and the things. You know, I could have been the little girl who wrote to Gorbachev saying, why do you hate me? You know, I was in the same grade. And so all of those things have shaped me in ways that I just don't understand why we're still having these exact same conversations that we were told growing up was settled things, right? These were supposed to be already settled. Human beings are allowed to just exist. So why are we here now, you know, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Live and let live. You know, I tell people it's one of the more common sense things that gets me across the aisle when I'm at a door, you know, maybe a conservative door. Like, hey, I don't care how you feel about transgender folks. Let them be. Let them be. If they don't bother you, or you know, somebody's not bothering you from that community, wouldn't even care. It's because they've been taught to care. Because they've been indoctrinated. If you saw it with this woke thing, I never in a million trillion years thought woke was still going to be a thing. I thought it was a passing thing. I was just like, okay, here's the new thing. And it switched around to where now Cracker Barrel was affected by this crazy shit. I don't even know how it changes except for the fact that, and please don't take me wrong on this, that maybe that population dies out a little faster. I don't know, right? Because they're a little bit older. I don't know.
I do tell people to come get their grandparents that are in office because it's elderly abuse. They need to be being cared for with loving hands at home.
Well, that's what Vance said, you know, we gotta start stepping up and taking our grandparents and our parents, and absolutely not.
No, that's a whole other thing too. Hey, and that's another big, nice, peaceful, hopeful thing to talk about. Once Trump's not the president anymore, he's made it so much about himself. I think it breaks out pretty quick. I truly do. That core, that MAGA core, I think melts away. I really do. No matter who the person is, either heir or parent, they're not going to be Trump. He made it so much about himself. Now, if he continues, that's the creepy thing too, because he try to ignore the Constitution and test all this other stuff and try to run for 2028. Well, that'll be a constitutional crisis we've never seen. So I guess we'll get to that. But, so that's the best hope that people do. Once that man's not cannot be elected and put on the ballot, I think it's real fast. I really do. Because he's made it so much about himself, like every other dictator or autocrat does. And what happens when those autocrats, well, in very, 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 I guess, some cases, North Korea, others that, I can't think of the other ones, they'll stick around because they have so much control, so much power that they can just pass on. That's not the case here. So
We missed that.
Any more, then we can move on and maybe get some more comments. There, is that positive? I hope.
Yeah, no, that was hope. That was hope. Yeah, that was hopeful. I love it. I love it. It's a good way to say yes. Let's go get them, right? So tomorrow, 9 a.m. at the Olive Hodge Building, and then
I say nothing changed. I say nothing changes. We already knew that this mofo was going to cancel this meeting. I did. I mentioned it in my very first post. I was like, rain or shine, meeting or no, you got to show up. We have to. We have to be numbers. The news will cover numbers. We need to see people. If I can AI these people into this thing, I would. But I can't. People.
How long are you guys going to be out there?
I'm showing up at 9:30 and just going to hang out and see what happens. I don't care if it's raining. I don't know if the rest of them will be up there. I think we're going to do about 3 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah, we decided 9 o'clock, and then 11 o'clock we're going over to the state capitol, second floor rotunda, and then 12, Representative McCain and some others are going to talk.
Yeah, I'll be in that room too. McCain's my office mate. She's awesome.
Oh, I love that. Awesome. We have her coming on in a couple of weeks, I think.
Well, this was a pleasure. I don't know if we ever got to answer all the questions that people asked. I don't know how this works. So, do you want to go in and do that, or?
So we actually got a lot of questions beforehand and asked now. And so what our plan is also, because this is just the beginning, right? Like, we're going to start ramping it up. We got lessons 2026. So, like, the questions that we got here, we're able to write down, and then because we will meet with you hopefully again and kind of do this again.
Yeah, this is fun.
Because of course we're just getting started, so like attendance is low, and that's fine. We'll go through all the social medias, but as we pick up, of course, we're going to want you to come back on and have more questions, and maybe you'll have like more
like on bills or whatever. I'm a great resource because I can be kind of a what do they call it? A Swiss Army knife. You can use it for whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you know this thing or that bill or whatever. I'm going to be an inside person. So just please reach out.
If I got one I need your help with, then I'll have to call you next week.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm all about the mental health and substance abuse field. So yeah.
Well, I hadn't done that since Bill Nations was in office 20 years ago now. Dang. Crazy. But we appreciate you coming on. This has been amazing. If there's anybody who has any last minute questions, there was one, I don't think Vance can rally the base, but will it matter because he won't have to, question mark? Not sure.
No, I don't think he can rally the base at all. I also think he's more of a astute politician than anybody gets credit for. If things look like they're going to head towards a more moderate Mickey way, he'll be the first one on that bandwagon. For God. He's one of those guys. He's like a Shane Jett. He's very much like a Shane Jett. Shane Jett back in the day in the House was one of the most moderate members. And now he's the leader of the Freedom Caucus in the Senate because he sees what's going on and can politicians are doing things. That's bad.
He's a puppet. He's a puppet.
It's all Trump. Trump's made it so much about himself that I think it falls apart even if his son tries to run or whatever else because none of them are Trump. Trump is Trump.
Right.
But he is who he is. There it is. And I think there's also going to be a lot of people that are going to be happy about him.
Sooner rather than later, please.
Never rooted so hard for a blood clot in my life.
Oh, come on. I don't wish ill on anybody. But my goodness, I'm like, bro.
But I won't be sad. I don't wish harm. So over at 50th and Lincoln, there's a picture on the mobile mini with him doing this, and every now and then somebody will go through and like mark it, and then you'll come back through and it's gone. Like, and I'm like, please not go away. Every day I see this.
Emma said, big, beautiful obituary instead of Bill.
So much of that, where things will change pretty much, not overnight, but pretty quick. especially with tariffs. Trust me, there's so many conservative Republicans who are like, this is not going to work. Of course not. I love it. More peace.
Right.
I'm still salty that Israel gets free health care, university, and I'm over here going, I don't know how I'm going to buy groceries. I'm like,
Yeah, why don't we emulate some of these other countries, I mean,
but we're paying for that.
yeah.
It's a lot.
If you have the money, you're paying to, oh my goodness. Yeah.
People would be shocked if they knew all the revenue sources that towns and cities and states and feds have coming in. It just is mind-boggling to me. And they don't always know it, which is kind of crazy to me, too. Can we create a statewide universal health care through a small tax increase? And why does OK send so much money to Israel? We have an OK exchange with them.
Yeah, we're very
proud of money.
And it's hard, guys. It's hard. It's hard. My district, are you kidding me? Tons of this university. It's hard. I don't think I'll be very honest, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I'm against the leadership and of Israel 100%. I think they're war criminals. I think that Gaza, that's the worst thing I think I've seen in my life. But I don't have control over the things that happen here in Oklahoma and state rep. Although I really wish they would stop getting money. They're fine. they're already built up and can do whatever they need or want to do out there. So, I don't know. I didn't need to delve into that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Center Care doesn't cover type 1 diabetes insulin at all.
They used to.
I didn't know about that. I thought they did too.
Who could they contact to get help with that?
Probably their state rep, as a matter of fact. We all have, the reason why I say that is because we have connections with all the different, we're like a conduit. And it's not, that won't even talk to us. It's our amazing legislative assistant. And listen, I put out 5 million fires every day. It's not me, it's my legislative assistant. So, if you know who your state rep is, holler at them. And what we can normally do, we can't put people with, but we can connect you with people that know how to answer those questions. Or if you have an issue with like an agency or something like that.
She's in McAllister. I think she has geriatric patients for her.
McAllister,
I thought, Sarah, who do you have? This is something that is her
state representative and state senator in McAllister.
Yeah, that's going to be David Smith. Nice guy. He's got a good.
Oh, there you
go. Super nice guy. Looks like Will Rogers. He's like really cool, and he doesn't say like 2 words. Talk about getting along to get along or whatever. But he's got a good office. He's got a good office staff. So reach out to him, and don't forget to reach out to us. It's very simple. It's just our name, and then a dot, and then our last name at OKHouse or OKSenate.gov. Very simple. Jacob.Rosecrants at OKHouse.gov. So he will be David Smith at OKHouse.gov. And yeah, just holler, because again, we can't work miracles, but we can help you get to my people.
I was wondering how you had Indonesian in McAllister. I'm not going to lie there, I'm not Indonesian.
That's got to be, income.
Right, yeah, income.
That's great.
I thought there was something I didn't know about there that the Indonesian community was doing that I didn't know existed.
I did not know about
We need one of those in the city.
Right.
Oh, that's
yeah, it's
I think that's who's asking the question. Yeah.
Yeah, Emma Craven. She's one of our volunteers down McAllister. She is the bomb.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for being out there. That used to be a Democrat stronghold, so it's kind of sad to see how things have changed so quickly.
She's working on taking it back over.
Yeah.
But she has to do it single-handedly, I think. She's determined.
That's good. No, that's the way it starts. We got to start picking away. You know, because once you have political balance, then you can really get things done. I preach that all the time. As much as we're in a very extreme world, I think there's some cracks to be exploited. I really do. So, you know, it's going to take the right candidate. It's going to take the right messages. It's going to take a lot of passion. It's going to take smart. Like to kind of figure out what you're going to do. You can't always wait for the best time. I'll tell you that much if you're going to run for something. Because I didn't. Nobody thought that a teacher out here in West Norman who drove a broke down PC food with no air conditioning was ever going to be represented. I had cops call on me in this neighborhood. So let that passion carry you on, those folks of y'all who are going to run or think about running out there. And even when you lose, I lost my first election too. Realize that's how you learn. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from whatever mistakes you thought you made or didn't. I only raised $13,000 in my first race. That is not enough. I was very proud of that $13,000, right, Colin? So just keep the faith, those of y'all who are going to run for something, and just keep doing the best you can.
Any last minute advice that you could give us out here in the wild to kind of help bridge the gap a little bit?
Yeah, and I have to be quick because for whatever reason I just realized my phone's at 4%. So I just
talk your phone down. Sorry.
I talk too much. I'm gonna listen next time. But I know. What was the question?
Any last minute advice, suggestions?
Yeah. Stay the course. You know, whatever makes you passionate about something, continue that. If you want to run for office, even if people are going to say you're not going to have a chance, it doesn't matter. You would have a same not chances. Think about all the positives that you can get from doing it. All the conversations you can help people change their minds, all those types of things. Because you're going to be told left and right, like, you can't do it, you shouldn't be doing it. And even from our own party, you're going to have it. It is because winnable versus not winnable seats. I'm just a believer in fighting hell of a different the fight. If your money, great. That's what's like. Eat, awesome. If it's showing up to protest, then that's how it is. That's what I think you should do. What makes you feel like you're helping, just continue to help. Continue to be there because also take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Self-care is so very important. I went through a major anxiety attack after we banned care and all those anti-opioid care. And I had to make some lifestyle changes. It was too much, too heavy. And so once I did that, then I'm more powerful and stronger and can come and help more people. So yeah, self-care is super human.
I teach it on a day. I'm a wellness coach, so I teach that on a daily.
I had to learn the hard way. I hit rock bottom. A couple of emergency room visits. I couldn't control. My brain made me believe I was dying. It was pretty bad. And it happened. I think my aunt died, and that's what really took everything else, and then everything else. And I'm very open about it because it's like a bag of rocks, and I didn't think I could get out of it. And with a good family, good team, and finally just believing in myself, then I got out of it. Now I have better tools. Never happened again.
Right. Stevie.
That's about all I got. I got 2%. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll talk next week.
Appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.